Think about this for a second. Songs about the LGBT community. What is up, you guys? I'm super excited for today's video. Today we are looking at songs that have celebrated the LGBT community over decades. Some that have highlighted societal changes, some that just get you ready for the weekend, and songs by artists who became icons in the community. I would love to know some of your favorite icons, people that have inspired you within the LGBT community in a musical sense. Leave their names below. Maybe I'll feature them on a future video. I gotta say, this legend, this lady right here, icon. If I could turn back time. If
I could turn back time. If I could find a war.
I could go off on a tangent here and talk about Will and Grace all day, but let's keep on topic. Come on, let's go. We'll be looking at tracks that highlight key points throughout history, how artists and writers have explored their own experiences, and we'll also be looking at some key figures who have represented the community over the years. So let's do this. Diana Ross, I'm Coming Out, 1980. I had to start today's video with this track because it's one of my all-time faves. I defy you to find any person out there that doesn't enjoy this song. I'm Coming Out was written by Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards from the 70s band Chic. They were approached by Diana herself after she'd seen them perform in concert. So first of all, where did the idea of the song come about? So apparently Nile Rodgers got the idea of the song after seeing three men stood at a urinal in a gay bar called the Gilded Grape in New York City. All of the three men stood at the urinal were dressed as Diana Ross. So it was evident to Nile Rodgers in that moment that Diana Ross clearly had a huge following in the LGBT community. In an interview with Billboard, Nile Rodgers said, "I went to the bathroom and happened to notice on either side there were a bunch of Diana Ross impersonators. I ran outside and called Bernard and told him about it and said, what if we recognize Diana's really cool alignment with her fan base in the gay community? So we sat down and wrote I'm Coming Out." Since then, this track has been adopted by the LGBT community as something of an anthem. It also reminds me of Made in Manhattan. Such a good movie. Got to let it show. I love this song so much, it's one of my faves. Now what's really interesting is Diana originally thought that Nile and Bernard had written the song to sabotage her career. She thought that by releasing the song, it might convince fans that she herself was gay and give them the completely wrong idea. But thankfully, she eventually came around to the idea that no, this wasn't going to be the case. It was more a kind of like homage to her fans who, you know, really needed somebody to be that voice and say what they wanted to say themselves, but in a kick-ass upbeat song. To this day, she opens up every single concert with I'm Coming Out. Next up, Judy Garland, Over the Rainbow, 1939. 1939? Blimey! Written for the film classic Wizard of Oz, Somewhere Over the Rainbow is sang by Judy Garland, or Dorothy, in the film when she's longing to escape the dreary life of living on a farm in Kansas. Now, some film executives thought that the film was too long and that the song didn't fit, and they almost cut it. They originally thought that it completely slowed down the action in the movie, but thankfully they kept it in. The music was written by Harold Arlen and the lyrics written by Yip Harburg. And what was once a song about a girl who wanted to escape just the dreary everyday life in Kansas, it turned into something completely different in a new context for the LGBT community. And it really is no coincidence that the LGBT community flag is a rainbow flag. Gilbert Baker, a drag queen and artist, first created the flag in 1978. In an interview he did with the Museum of Modern Art, Gilbert said this: "We needed something beautiful, something from us. The rainbow is so perfect because it really fits our diversity in terms of race, gender, ages, all of those things." Arlen had a bit of a trademark, a signature thing that he did in a lot of his songs. He would often begin a song with an octave leap. For example, the first word, the first two syllables is somewhere, and he used the octave leap here. Somewhere, that's the octave leap. Another fun fact about how he wrote the song, in the section that sings Someday I Wish Upon a Star, this was apparently meant to imitate a child playing like a piano exercise. Someday I wish upon a star. The song followed Judy throughout her entire career and was probably sometimes a burden. Judy once said, "It's like being a grandmother in pigtails." This happens to a lot of artists. Their number one hits just follow them around for the rest of their careers. Now, Judy Garland died on the 22nd of June in 1969, 1 week prior to the Stonewall riots. The riots happened between gay rights activists and police outside the Stonewall Inn, a gay bar in Greenwich Village, in New York City. It was a hugely significant event and was largely responsible for the beginning of the gay rights movement. Some people believe that there's a connection to Judy Garland's death and the Stonewall riots, as they happened weeks apart from one another. Now, there was never any proof to say that this was true, but I would love to know your thoughts, so leave them in the comments below. Goldfrapp, Clay, 2013. This is just a short one, but it definitely brought a tear to my eye, so let me tell you about this next one. Alison Goldfrapp was inspired by a letter that she found on this website, Letters of Note. It was a letter about two men that were brought together by the war. They meet in World War II and become lovers, and tragically one of them dies in battle. The letter is written by World War II veteran Brian Keith to a guy called Dave, a soldier that he fell in love with in 1943 while stationed in North Africa. The letter, when you read it, is so beautiful and it might bring a tear to your eye. It was also reprinted in a pro-gay magazine back in 1961 called The One Magazine. Please, please, please have a read of this letter. Listen to the song by Goldfrapp as well. It's a really, really touching and kind of heartbreaking story. So I've left a link in the description below for you guys. Next up, Rita Ora, Girls, 2018. Cardi B, BB Rexha, Charlie XCX join Rita Ora in this track called Girls. Now, this song came into fire recently for appearing to be a little bit insensitive towards the LGBT community. A lot of people, myself included initially, kind of felt that the song was almost written with the male gaze in mind. It's been heavily criticised for portraying bisexuality in the wrong way. I have to say, the first time I heard the song, I did feel the same way. Now, apparently it was actually a mostly male writing team behind this track, and I think that's also where some of these concerns come in. So there was a lot of outrage. We had people like Kalani and Hayley Kiyoko writing statements against the song. They clearly weren't happy. Hayley wrote on Twitter that girls did more harm than good to the LGBTQ community. A song like this just fuels the male gaze while marginalising the idea of women loving women. I don't need to drink wine to kiss girls. I've loved women my entire life. Rita herself had previously said that the inspiration was actually drawn from Katy Perry's I Kissed a Girl, but Katy herself said that there were some stereotypes in there that she didn't really agree with either. Now, Rita Ora defended herself, saying that this was in no way meant to harm any member of the LGBT community. In fact, it was her personal account of her experiences with women in the past. She has had relationships with both men and women. So while she understood people's concern, she also wanted to make it clear that that was never the case to hurt anybody's feelings. It was more her personal account. Now, I personally think that Rita Ora has better songs. I'm in a weird limbo with my opinion on this one. Being bisexual myself, hearing the song, even on the first time round, I immediately got a sense of, oh, that doesn't sit right with me. But on the other hand, I do also understand that, you know, it's Rita's voice and she should be able to sing what she wants to sing. I really am in two minds on this one. I would love to know your thoughts. Leave them in the comments below. Hayley Kiyoko, can I just say, is an absolute queen. I love her so much. And I can't wait to go see her on tour in the UK. I'm so excited. I've been a fan of Hayley for the longest time, so to see her doing so well over this past year, 2 years is so cool. So well done, Hayley. I love you. Next up, Hands, a Song for Orlando by Various Artists, 2016. Now, there were a ton of people that sang on this record, including Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, Selena Gomez, Pink, Meghan Trainor, RuPaul, Troye Sivan, so many people. The song was written by Julia Michaels and Justin Tranter. On June 12th in 2016, a guy opened fire in an Orlando nightclub called Pulse. He killed at least 49 people, with many, many more injured, and was shot dead by police that night. Now, Pulse, the nightclub themselves, they were hosting, I think, a Latin-themed night. There were over 300 people in there. I refuse to name the gunman in this video. I refuse to spotlight anyone who does such a thing. Now, at the time, Justin Tranter was touring with Selena Gomez, and after hearing about the event, he rang up to see if he could volunteer and help in any way. Over the phone, he was told that they needed as many hands as they could get. And this spurred on the idea of the song Hands. Selena Gomez was apparently the very first person to hear this song, as Justin Tranter had written it on her tour bus. On the song itself, Justin said, "We wanted it to sound classic, timeless and human. We want this anthem of positivity to be played for years to come." There's been a lot of resistance against the LGBT community in all kind of aspects. of life. When this event happened, it was incredibly chilling, but so many people from all corners of the world came together to remember the people who were lost on that night, and also to raise money for these foundations. I urge you to go and check out the One Pulse Foundation. Go listen to the song Hands as well. There's a beautiful music video that you should check out, and I hope you enjoy it. And last but not least, a true icon, David Bowie, Starman, 1972. Many people say that there was a defining, precise moment when David Bowie captured the eye of the world. And this happened on July 6th, 1972, on a show we have here in the UK, or used to have, called Top of the Pops. Performing Starman as Ziggy Stardust, dressed in a multicoloured jumpsuit with the trademark flame red hair, Ziggy flirtatiously threw his arms around his guitarist Mick Ronson on camera. And in a moment that so many people remember, David pointed to the camera while singing the words, "I had to phone someone, so I picked on you." Imagine watching that in the 1970s. You can't rewind and watch it again. You've just watched it the one time. There's no replays. Over 14 million people tuned in to watch that show and saw David Bowie point at that camera. And so many people glued to their TV screens recall that happening, that one moment, as one of the most memorable moments of watching that show. David Bowie, Ziggy Stardust, he was an icon for people who were discovering their sexuality, particularly for the younger generation. And not everybody was happy with what they saw on TV that night, but it liberated so many people. As far as I understand, I think it was a bit of a first for TV as well. In just a few seconds, David had established himself and resonated a message that so many people had wanted to hear. The trademark Ziggy lightning bolt, the hair, just everything. It was all an emblem of being yourself, being individual, and being true to your feelings as well. You gotta also remember that for many people, that was the very first time, their very first impression of David Bowie. Iconic! He was responsible for almost like redefining sexuality for an entire generation. He enabled people to speak up about their own feelings, people who maybe felt that they couldn't. And he was always an advocate for the LGBT community too. His kind of ambiguity, I feel, made a lot of people more comfortable in their own skin. Now, listening to Bowie's Starman and Over the Rainbow by Judy Garland, there's a significant similarity. It's certainly possible that Bowie was influenced by Somewhere Over the Rainbow, because at the very beginning of the chorus we hear that same octave leap that I talked about earlier. Somewhere is a star man waiting in the sky. Maybe it's coincidental, but it's interesting to kind of see that. What an absolute legend. And that is it for today's video. I'm a little bit angry because I ordered a rainbow flag to arrive for today's video and it's not here. Damn you, Amazon. But don't worry, because there are so many songs that we didn't talk about today that are about the LGBT community that I would love to highlight in future videos. So please regard this as kind of like part one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and please let me know what your favorite LGBT anthems are in the comments below. I would be really interested to hear if there's been any songs out there that have helped you guys express yourselves in the way you want to as well, so leave them down below too. New Songs About episodes are uploaded every Wednesday and Friday, so come back for more. Hit like and subscribe, do all the things that you guys need to do so you actually see my content, and I will see you guys on Friday. Bye!